Amid the chaos of the horrific shooting in Dallas, police wrongly identified an individual who was not actually a suspect. The man is Mark Hughes, and almost 2 hours later, police sent a tweet identifying Hughes as the first suspect in the shooting and asking for help tracking him down. A picture of him at the protest smiling in a camouflage t-shirt with a rifle slung over. So here's a picture of him. And he and his brother did speak to a CBS affiliate in Dallas and explained the chaos that ensued after his identity was released by police on that Twitter page. Now, keep in mind, I mean, people were justified in being angry, in being scared, and wanting to go after the suspect. But since cops had wrongly identified him, he was the target of death threats, and he was afraid for his own life. So he actually turned himself into the police immediately. And one of the reasons why he was deemed a suspect is because he was openly carrying a rifle. But understand that in Texas, open carry is legal, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was one of the peaceful protesters. Now, before we get to the comments, I want to just quickly show you the video of him and his brother speaking to the media about what happened.
I don't know what to say. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The crazy thing about it is that I was down here. I couldn't get to my vehicle because of the roadblock. And hindsight 2020, I could have easily been shot.
Where were you when your picture was being plastered all over the country? You didn't even know?
I didn't know. We received a phone call that my face was on there as a suspect. And immediately I flagged down a police officer.
So while the country was looking for you, you were talking to police?
I was talking to police, laughing and joking with police officers.
And not only that, we were assisting the police. You know, we were part of the organization that put on this peaceful protest. And so when they started shooting, we went to the cops and asked, what could we do? How could we help them? And so the whole time we were helping cops. You know, and I understood, you know, just recently, less than 48 hours ago, a young man that had a permit to carry a gun was killed by a cop. And so when they started firing, when shots started firing, I went to the cop. I approached them, and I told my brother, I said, give your gun to this cop because we don't want an accident. We don't want them to come around the corner and see you with a gun and start shooting at you. And so when the first shots went off, we turned over our gun and let them have it, and then help direct traffic. We helped people get behind buildings. We were assisting. At the end of the day, we came for a peaceful protest.
So I got to be honest, I have mixed feelings about this. So I like that Mark Hughes is wearing a Steelers shirt almost identical to the one I have. So that's the relevant point. And I like that he says the reason he brought his licensed weapon is, he's like, I'm an American, like anybody's an American. I got my Second Amendment rights. I live in Texas, right? Mm-hmm. So I get to do whatever else anybody else does, right? But I don't want people to get too up in arms about how cops handle this. That's why I say I have mixed feelings. Because I watched that full video that they showed briefly on the left, his interaction with the cops. Now, it was not like Castile in Falcon Heights, where the guy said, Castile said, I have a licensed weapon on me, and the cop shot him. In this case, he was openly carrying the weapon. First of all, the guy who did the shooting was described as a black guy, had camouflage on, and a rifle. And Mark was black, had camouflage on, and had a rifle. If I'm the cops, I'm going to talk to him, right? So then the question is, how am I going to talk to him? And they actually were really respectful. They didn't pull their weapons when they saw him with his rifle. They came because they had gone up to the cops. They were super respectful. Mm-hmm. And they said, this is a licensed weapon, and we're going to turn it over. And it worked just fine. Mm-hmm. And then the cop, as you saw a little bit in that video, gave him his card and said, call me, and there's a process, and then you get it back, right? And then they had to take them in, and then they held them till later in the night. But I actually think the cop reaction could have been a lot worse and was actually really professional.
Right. So, look, I disagree with you to some extent because everything worked out fine because Mark Hughes was extremely lucky that everything worked out fine. This tweet was retweeted 39,000 times, right? And so we're in Texas where people are armed to the teeth. I mean, this is one of the states that allows open carry. So the fact that A, the cops didn't shoot him, and B, other individuals didn't shoot him is miraculous, okay? Yeah. So I don't know. I honestly do not know what the best solution would have been. I don't know if plastering someone's identity all over the internet as a suspect like that is the best way to go, especially when tensions are high and you know that there are people who are armed and might, carry out vigilante justice against this guy.
So they hear guy with camouflage and a rifle, and then they see a picture of him in social media, and they go, okay, this might be the suspect. They put out a tweet, the cops do, with his face on it, saying this is a suspect. If you see him, turn him in or let us know. Now, the part of that I object to is the word suspect. And the reason is, if you're the Dallas Police Department there, you got to find this guy, whoever's doing the shooting, and he matches the description. You got to find him now. 10 cops are down. 5 of them turn out to have died, right? So I'm asking for something simple. We always try to be constructive on the show, right? A person of interest. Now, I know that sounds like a fine line, but when cops say person of interest, they mean might or might not be the suspect. Don't go crazy, right? Suspect means like, that's the guy, go get him, all right? So don't put suspect out there because, as it turns out, he wasn't the suspect. And there's a lot of people with guns there. Some of them are cops, some of them are not cops, and they're going to get thoughts in their head. So I get why they put the picture out. I wish they'd have said a person of interest. I hope that people are sophisticated enough to understand that. At that point, somebody tells Mark, oh, I just saw the Dallas PD put your picture out and they're looking for you. And he's like, whoa, him and his brother. So then they come to the police and go, hey, guys, I think you're looking for me and here's my weapon. So Mark and his brother handled it 100% right.
Yep.
And the cops at that point handled it right.
I do want to give the cops a tremendous amount of credit because, considering all the stories that we've covered over the last few years of, excessive force and shooting first before asking any questions, it is miraculous that you come across a case like this where cops have been gunned down, people have already died, and they've reacted calmly to someone who approaches them with a weapon. I'm so happy about that, and I give them a tremendous amount of credit.
Yeah.
But the other part is that photo and that same tweet remained on their Twitter account for the rest of the night, up through the morning.
Formal apology.
Yeah, I was still there. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep, stomach turning, because of all this craziness that's gone over the past 3 days, and that tweet was still there. And it should have immediately, I know they had so much going on, but whoever was handling social media should have apologized or just at least issued a denouncement of
because that's a threat.
Yeah,
I mean, that's terrifying for him. As you were saying, he got death threats. Last night we were at a Black Lives Matter conversation at the Mocha, which has been planned for a long time, and it was before all the events that transpired this week. And we all left, and we thought we were going to go to City Hall because there was a peaceful protest happening. And as soon as we left the Mocha, we saw on Twitter and everything that this Dallas event had unfolded, and the fear that we felt. Can you imagine the fear this man felt?
Oh my God, I can't.
Like the whole world thinks that he's responsible. It's not even him, it's his family. It's like, people are crazy out there. To me, that's where the police did handle it wrong, by not removing that tweet, by not releasing a formal statement that said this man is innocent and this is why, this is where we got it wrong. They did eventually, as I understand, but they didn't. I know he doesn't feel like he has still received a formal apology.
Yeah. So I want to be clear. I don't think he agrees with me. He doesn't think that it was handled exactly right. And so he's looking for more than that. And it's so easy for me to speak in this studio, comfortable in LA, and I think he's much braver than I am, because him and his brother then go and direct traffic, as they say. Are you guys crazy? If that was my picture, get him in the car, go back home, get into a basement. Anybody could be hunting for you accidentally. So until the police put out the tweet saying, no, not him, until it all cools down, I wouldn't have been in public at all, but there they are trying to help people.
Yeah, and by the way, I think that this case is a perfect example of the flaws regarding open carry laws, okay? It perfectly highlights how this could lead to a lot of misinformation about individuals, how it could lead to, acts of violence carried out toward these individuals. How do you know without a shadow of a doubt that someone is a good person with a gun versus a bad person with a gun? Open carry is a dumb idea, and this case perfectly highlights that.
Well, that's the other part I disagree with Hughes on, which is don't carry a rifle around. I know you're in Texas and everybody does it. White people do it, black people do it, etc. But I think it's a bad idea when anybody does it.
Yeah, and
because it can easily get misconstrued.
I do want to give the NRA some credit for sticking up for Hughes and his right to legally carry this gun openly. Oh, wait, they haven't done that?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
about to say.
interesting.
I was about to say, I don't know where that came from.
No, it's only there's only one demographic
Right.
that they will not support when it comes to carrying a weapon, and that's blacks. Okay,
Yeah.
but they're okay with people on the terrorist watch list carrying guns. They're okay with everyone else carrying guns. But if you're black, nah, they won't stick up for you.
No, I'm actually
Incredible.
amazed at that they didn't come out in support of Castile in Falcon Heights.
I'm
I
not
thought that
amazed at
would have
all.
been a moment for the NRA to go, you see, it isn't about race. Castile was a licensed carrier. I can't believe the cops did that. It's so easy for them to have done that, but yet I've not heard anything yet. I would have thought they would have made a huge deal out of that, done a
Right.
press conference, etc. But they haven't backed them at all, and that just shows you their enormous hypocrisy.